Hi, everyone. I'm joined by the CEO of Ottawa Community Housing, Stéphane Giguère. As you know, I am chair of the board. I'm proud. I've been on the board since I was first elected. And Stéphane and I have worked closely over now 5 years. Stéphane, you and your team have seen a lot of emergency situations at the city, unfortunately. That'd be the tornadoes, that'd be some of the issues around flooding. Tell us how Ottawa Community Housing, Ottawa's largest landlord, as it adapted to those emergency situations over the years?
Yeah, the context have quite changed over the years. And for us, it was all about the safety of our staff, the residents, the volunteers, and also the contractors of Ottawa Community Housing since the beginning. But in the last 3 years, we have invested massively in preparedness to ensure that all of our plans will be there to sustain our operations, to provide services, to deploy the emergency requirement in terms of facilities, support to the residents, or simply to provide comfort and to listen in the anxiety and the stress that could be provided to the residents during a crisis. If we go back day one, when the pandemic was declared in Ottawa, for us it was really to stop the operations. So it was really about how we go from a mode that is business as usual to an emergency mode. And because we've been declared in 4 areas of emergency, vulnerable populations, safety, building maintenance, and build constructions, you can imagine that for us, all of a sudden it was to go 24/7, and in fact for the last 7 or 8 weeks now, and to ensure that all of the services will be delivered on time and that staff will remain safe, and also the residents will have the proper level of services being delivered. And you spoke about something important, the alignment with other emergency services, the police, the fire services, paramedics. For us, we work jointly with them. When we did our rehearsal, it was with those agencies that we were aligning our plans, and now we are live, we are deployed, and that's the consistency that now we're delivering. So
I've seen on that front too, the city's Human Needs Task Force, OCH, being at that table. United Way has launched a separate effort. So we're at various tables. So we're structured internally in our emergency response, but we're connected again to support the tenants.
So in terms of the response and the services, they are well defined by the Ottawa Public Health, regulations, directions that we're receiving, but also the province. In terms of service, for instance, any emergency inside your home. So if you are a resident of Ottawa Community Housing, you have a leak, you have, a break-in entry, call 911. But if you see loitering in a staircase, we will be there to ensure that you are safe and will, intervene. Again, what is important to recognize is because of this distancing element, anything that does not require our presence on site, we will try to avoid those. But anything that we have to go inside and fix and repair because of an emergency, a leak, a toilet not working, yes, we will go and fix it up. So part of our post-peak recovery plan, Ottawa Community Housing, we will be looking at different aspects, progressive, that will be following the guidelines of the province. One of the aspects clearly that would be in terms of the return to work for the staff in a safe manner. And we will be looking at the priorities in terms of services required by the tenants and going back to our communities, again, in a very safe manner. So for us, that would be paramount. In terms of the services, the range will go from going back to fixing potentially the staircase that has some issues to going back to our massive capital
broader maintenance,
cladding projects, and we'll be redeploying the resources. Everything will be done gradually. So we are expecting to see that progression and those stages unfolding in the month of June, July, August, and September. And then from there, based on the different set of regulations and policy, we will be readapting and readjusting as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm joined by Brian Gilligan, who's the Vice President of Community and Tenant Support at Ottawa Community Housing. Brian, I know you're busy. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to have a quick chat with me about Ottawa Community Housing specifically. Tell us about, obviously your team is super engaged with tenant leaders regularly and partners. what's changed since it is not business as usual during the pandemic for our organization and everyone in Ottawa?
So, I mean, a couple of different parts of teams that I work with, their lives have changed in different ways. So I'll start with community safety services. This is about 35 uniform safety workers who respond 24/7 to calls. Like the police, when this started, we decided we would be prioritizing our calls and basically focusing on the ones that, were the largest concerns in order to create more time for proactive patrol. So we really increased the amount of time that we're spending in the community proactively patrolling buildings. We've also upped substantially the number of joint patrols that we're doing with Ottawa Police Services. So that's been it's been a really good partnership. It's really worked out with the
And
police.
the intent of that is in terms of safety for our tenants. Is that what the
for tenants,
coordination?
One of the challenges often in our communities, particularly in the downtown core, are non-residents accessing buildings, and we're seeing more of that, possibly because people have fewer other places to go. So, patrolling our stairwells and our lobbies, responding to calls for services. When everyone's at home, noise becomes a little more of an issue for people. So we're certainly seeing, more challenges around, people just having a hard time getting through their days and nights, and maybe calling safety services because of disturbances or things like that. On the other side, the rest of my staff, as of March 16th, were required to work from home, although they work a lot in the community. And really what we decided to focus on was connecting as much and as frequently as possible with basically 2 or 3 different types of tenants, as well as connecting with partners. So between March 23rd and last Friday, we called 3,500 tenants who we consider to be vulnerable because we have a history with them. We know there are challenges. Maybe they showed up in a safety report, but also reaching out proactively to the tenants on our emergency list. And these are tenants who have self-identified as requiring help if they needed to evacuate. And also, once we got through that list, starting to call our seniors.
Hi, I'm Melissa Arsenault. I'm a property manager with Ottawa Community Housing. Well, as property managers, what we've done is we've ensured that we're also out in the field with our staff. So we're still coming into the office, and we're still going out to sites as well, just to sort of lead by example and show that we're there with our staff. We're following, the public health guidelines and the guidelines that are set out by, the province of Ontario and the city of Ottawa as well, just to ensure that everybody's working in a safe way. One of the additional things that we've done here is we've actually created a team of individuals that can respond to emergency situations or critical situations in units where residents may be positive. So we've got like we call them the red team. As a show of support, there's two property managers are also trained.
I know that you're one of them.
I am, yes. The tenants are motivating the staff. We had a banner put up in one of the communities that I manage, and that was done. It was led by one of our tenant leaders, but a bunch of kids put the banner together, and it brought so much joy to the staff. I was getting a lot of comments.
I saw a picture. I think it's a rainbow that says "In this together."
Yeah, and it's in both languages, and it's little things like that are keeping everybody sort of engaged and motivated. But I have been so impressed with our community. Our community is of Ottawa, but just our OCH communities, and how the individuals that live in those communities have come together to support each other, but also support us.